Greetings, fellow gamers. I'm the Soulsborne Seeker, and today I'll be giving my first impressions on The Spirit of the Samurai, a side-scrolling Souls-like game with Metroidvania element that's being developed by Digital Mind Games and expected to come out on the 12th of December 2024. The developer was kind enough to give me early access to a demo of the game and allowed me to share with you my experience during these first 45 minutes, which is what this preview will be covering, though I'll also provide some extra insights based on a brief trailer the demo included at the end. The Spirit of the Samurai tells the story of Takeshi, a young samurai capable of communicating with tree spirits called Kodama. Following a restless dream, Takeshi awakens only to find his village under attack by demonic creatures under the command of a powerful Oni named Shuten-doji. Faced with an onslaught of monsters as well as their undead minions, Takeshi is forced to take up arms and defend his loved ones from a cruel fate while facing off against unspeakable monstrosities inspired by Japanese mythology and folklore. As far as I could tell from my so far experience, the game's narrative is mainly conveyed via beautifully rendered cutscenes that were a feast for the eyes, with top-notch cinematic direction that had me forgetting I was playing a video game at times. I only got a taste of where the story wants to go, but it was enough to leave me wanting for more. Story aside, the first thing that immediately stood out to me when I started my playthrough was the game's unique take on character animation, which utilizes a stop-motion approach that provides a welcome unsettling vibe to the whole experience, especially when it comes to enemy movement, since the abrupt motions of the abominations you'll get to face make them even more eerie and terrifying when combined with their imaginative design. As a matter of fact, I was pleasantly surprised to find that, at least as far as the start of the game goes, it cemented a truly dark and at times claustrophobic ambience that evoked a sense of constant pressure and dread, completely immersing me in Takeshi's ordeal and solidifying the horror aspect of the title as one of brutality and oppression. When it comes to setting, I got to experience three different areas, those being Takeshi's village, which gives off a sense of tradition, an underground system of tunnels, which really cranked up tension by having you be mindful of both enemies as well as traps that could take you down in one hit, and also the spirit realm, which I didn't get to spend much time in, and I'm not really sure if it will be a recurring biome in the final game. The game's trailer betrayed that aside from Takeshi, you will also be in control of two more characters, those being Takeshi's cat as well as a Kodama spirit. Here I should point out that the demo I experienced only allowed the use of Takeshi, who corresponds to the combat-oriented aspect of the game and is the one that brings most of the Souls-like elements into the mix. Based on the trailer, the cat is more focused on platforming, exploration and stealth segments, while the Kodama incorporates both platforming as well as combat against smaller enemies. So all three characters brought together complete the Metroidvania Souls-like experience. In terms of exploration, the limited time I had with the game showed me that the map had many different branches you can take, most of which lead to smaller rooms that are full of consumable collectibles such as fruit, tea and incense, which are items that can also be looted from defeated enemies. In relation to the aforementioned branches, the environment has several places where it allows you to move up or down floors as well as enter and exit rooms by moving in depth, which you do by tilting the movement controls in that direction. A process that was fine, though I'll admit that there were a few times when I accidentally moved up or down a floor when I just wanted to go straight, but that didn't feel that prominent. When it comes to the collectibles I found, all of them were related to certain shrines you find across the setting, which are utilized like Soulsborne bonfires in that they allow you to heal, level up your character and also acquire new items or sell old ones. Leveling up occurs via experience you gain by defeating enemies, which yield ability points that you can then spend on a shrine to raise one of four different statistics, namely strength, resistance, dexterity and your bow damage. The item exchange I mentioned refers to your ability to sell items you have found in exchange for incense, which you can then spend to purchase other consumables or weapons such as healing potions, flaming arrows and powerful throwing kunai knives, among others. Consumables can be assigned to a cross that corresponds to your D-pad, which happens via the inventory menu of the game and through which you can make quick use of them. I'm not sure what other collectibles you can find on your journey, but this was definitely a good start when it comes to making your character more combat efficient. On a final note here, the game does feature a map view, though I was only able to see that it provides information on secret spots and collectibles gathered in each area, but nothing else. I'm also under the impression that the game's world is divided into stages for an experience similar to the Neo games, though I never got to confirm that during the demo. Speaking of combat, this was definitely the main focus when it comes to Takeshi's gameplay, and I'm glad to say it was incredibly solid. On a basic level, Takeshi is capable of taking down foes both in close quarter fights with his katana, as well as from a distance by utilizing utilizing his bow or kunai. When it comes to the bow, Takeshi can draw it out in an instant and start shooting a hail of arrows at his enemies, though said arrows are not infinite, so you'll have to keep an eye out on them. There are also different types of arrows, such as flaming ones, as well as the aforementioned kunai, which are of varied efficiency. The swordplay of the game was a welcome surprise, since it is both tactical as well as frenetic depending on your own approach. Despite his armor, Takeshi is quite nimble and can run and dodge roll in order to position himself behind his enemies and flank them, from which point he can initiate a hectic combo attack that usually results in an execution animation for many of the foes you'll get to take down. You are also able to parry enemy attacks, which then leave them open to counterattacks of your own if you get the timing right. Of note here is the fact that as you progress through the game and level up your character, you'll get to unlock new moves which you can then mix and match via the combat menu screen, effectively creating new types of combos based on your own preferences and battle necessities at any given moment, which will definitely provide a welcome element of fighting diversity into the mix. Platforming wise, aside from a few jumping instances to avoid traps, I didn't get a chance to experience anything complex in the game, though do keep in mind that it's not Takeshi who is meant for the platforming side of the game that much, but rather the cat and the Kodama, so we'll have to wait and see when it comes to the heights of acrobatics the game intends to reach. Bosses were another part of the game I didn't get a chance to experience, though I will say that the big bads revealed during the trailer looked incredibly brutal and menacing, so I'm really looking forward to clashing against them. In conclusion, I truly enjoyed my time with the Spirit of the Samurai. I adored its stop-motion animation approach, art style and cinematic direction. I had a lot of fun with combat, I loved the level up system, and I'm intrigued by the tactical possibilities brought about by the various different items available in the shrines, as well as the combo customization system. I wasn't able to experience any significant platforming segments or any boss fights whatsoever, and I also didn't get the chance to try out the other two characters to speak about their gameplay, but as things stand, the demo did whet my appetite for the whole experience, and I can't wait to get my hands on the final version of the game. What are your thoughts on the Spirit of the Samurai? Had you heard about it before this preview? Are you planning to try it out when it becomes available? Let me know in the comments below, and please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, Soulsborne Seeker out!